What's going on, y'all? 8:56 p.m. Good nighttime jog and walk. Wanted to tap in with y'all, man. It's been some busy past couple weeks, to say the least. It's been a lot going on, but good busy, learning a lot, being challenged and being pushed in different directions professionally and personally. So can't really complain about it. But for those who I'm sure do know, and maybe some of those who don't know, today is a day that I could not let go by without acknowledging one of the greatest leaders to ever walk this earth. I couldn't let the day go by as I think about the name of the podcast, Dreams by Any Means, that is partially influenced by this leader. And that's Dr. King. It's April 4th today, 2023. But as we know, April 4th, 1968, Dr. King was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee, during his fight for civil rights, equality, love, and just overall good human nature and human behavior, for this world. As you get older, you always had the things of Dr. King versus X, or what was Dr. King's way, or what was this, or what was that, or years later, we still in this position. Did he do what he needed to do? And it's like, man, that's something that you can't even try to like break down or try to discredit. We just talking about a man that stood up in a time when, standing up would get you set right back down, and it was legal and it was acceptable. You think about the people that marched, that walked, that got beat, that sacrificed, that went state to state, city to city, bus boycott, dinner sitting and all those type of things, right? And I'm saying people because oftentimes, people say, oh, it was more people back in that MLK, which it was. But, through every mission and every, effort, there's a leader, there's a face, and there's someone that has that influence and have that ability to be able to take people to the next level and be able to make people believe in what the end goal is. And that was Dr. Martin Luther King. I remember growing up, we just learned so much about Dr. King. Everything was Martin. My friend Martin, the stories, this, that, and the third, right? But I would say one thing I took from Dr. King, outside of just his ability as a leader and how he was raising his foundation, was the people that he had around him, right? And shout out to Silas. I know Silas was just on the podcast. Silas said something years ago, I'll never forget. And he said, when it comes time for me to vote for politicians, vote for people to get into these elected and appointed positions, I look at the people around them, because those are the people that's going to influence their decisions and influence what they got going on. So I say that to say, for those that went to school, or, you a deep reader, deep thought, when you learn more about the civil rights movement and you learn about Dr. King and his mission, but you learn about the Ralph Abernathy's, you learn about Jesse Jackson, Dick Gregory, you learn about the big impact that women had on the civil rights movement back in the day. They just kind of played that back role. But we know the people that play the back role make the front role, keep going. So saying all this to say, man, I just wanted to acknowledge Dr. King for really sacrificing something he believed in, putting his life on the line for stuff that we still fighting for today. Like I said, we definitely could say that we aren't in the best shape, and some people may say the dream didn't come true, but we got to look at the strides that we've reached, the strides we reached in corporate America, in politics and sports, entertainment, music, being able to witness our first black president, hopefully not the last. There definitely has been some success that came from the sacrifices that Dr. King made and the vision that he had for, equality and people to unite. We talk about being in this era right now of DE&I, diversity, equity and inclusion. That's all Dr. King was talking about. He was talking about DE&I before DE&I was even a word that people was throwing around, But I also say that, Dr. King's leadership, tenacity, and, the routine to get those results, it all goes back to how you were raised usually. It goes back to your foundation. You think about your foundation, coming from a church, being a preacher's son, being involved in the community, being in a city in Atlanta where the need has been to serve our people. It's like he kind of was born into this. And like anybody can be born into something, but you could choose to go another route, especially when you're talking about putting your life and your family life at risk through all the things that he did. So, Man, as I'm on this walk, April 4th, 1968, April 4th, 2023, I want to shout out Dr. King, shout out to the King family, shout out everybody that came before me and the people my age and my younger people that, paved the way for us. And, whether you are working a career in sports, service, private, nonprofit, whatever you're doing, don't let that define what you can do to continue to push forward the things that people like Dr. King did as far as pushing forward the culture and fighting for the rights of black people. Because as y'all know, state to state, city to city, we see it all around. We still got some more fighting to do. And I'm gonna just leave it with this quote that I live by, that I believe in, and that I think applies to everyone. And let's just say specifically apply to Black America, Black people, as we work for economic equality, as we work towards public safety, as we work towards ending gun violence, as we work towards having policies that can allow us to get from point A to point B and allow us to be able to take our families and our communities from point A to point B. It all starts with you, where you at, what you're doing. And like I said, you don't got to be in a political position or in a community position to be a leader and make an impact, in our communities. And that's everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. And y'all know what I always say, hustle plus faith equals success. Rest in peace to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Let's keep pushing the culture forward by any means. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Thank you for tuning into Dreams by Any Means Motivation Station, where hustle plus faith equals success. Stay tuned for the next episode.